Hi, my name is Danny Trachtenberg. I'm a producer and mixer based in London. Today we're at Strong Rooms doing a mix breakdown of the song I Feel Alive by the artist CJ Mirra. The mix contains a few Arturia plugins from their effects bundle that I've been exploring recently. So let's get into it. Okay, cool. Let's begin by taking a listen to a little excerpt of the track. So there's been a couple iterations of this mix over the years. This track actually goes back to 2019. We started working on it around then, and since then, it's ended up on a couple film and TV series that CJ has worked on. And in this version, that's going to be going on his upcoming album, the production was updated a little bit, so we needed to update the mix to fall in line with the new production, but also fall in line with the new material that he's been writing. The drums got an update, and this plugin, Mix Drums, became really useful in trying to get the drums to cut through with some of the additional production that he was doing. And I mean, it just did something immediate for me that I really liked. So getting into this plugin, I kind of went in a little bit blind and just tried to find some settings myself that kind of added that I've seen if I could find some punch and some additional tone and top end that could get the drums to kind of sit in the incredibly dense vocal production and synth production. And so this is kind of what I ended up finding between these settings using the tape and the triode and the op amp, and then this clean high section as well. So let's take a listen to the before and after. Cool. So you can hear that there's a bit of level getting added there, but I'm hearing things just jump out a little bit more. There's a little bit more punch, a little bit more drive. I just really needed the drums to sit above that dense production without kind of altering the state that which the mix had been in up until this point. And as like I said, things had changed, things had evolved, some new parts had been added, some different layers that CJ wanted to add. So it was more of a case of, without just pushing the gain up of everything, trying to find a solution with had a mix of level, had a mix of tone, had a mix of drive, getting the top end also to poke out a little bit. And this clean highs gain here, which what I'm hearing is just this slightly smoother boost to the top end, the cymbals, the top of the snare, all feel like they're just cutting through the mix. And I'm really enjoying kind of what this is doing. Okay, so still with the drums, there was another little parallel, and down here, the two kicks have this really amazing syncopation, but the program material came in really processed with a lot of tone, some distortion on the kick, and the acoustic kick really well recorded. It came in really well balanced. I just felt like it needed a little bit more body and attack to kind of cut through. So here are the two. Let's go. Let's jump right in. So it was the kick. So it was the acoustic kick that I felt like it just needed just a little bit extra attack to cut through. So I've got this this parallel using Arturia's version of the DBX 160 this is a really great emulation of it that I think brings out really important transient material when that's what you're looking for. So in this case, okay, so here's the kick with the parallel down here. And without. And with again. So it's a small amount, it's a really subtle amount, but if we bring in all of the drums and hear it, you can hear that it's just bringing that acoustic kick a little bit more forward. Okay, so how do we have this set up? I've got it on a parallel down here, which is being summed to a final drum bus in parallel with all of the drums. I've got really fast release and some sort of medium attack, and that's just to really allow the transient through, which is it's maybe 5 dB, just under 5 dB of compression, but it's more about just getting that attack and transient information of the kick to come through and sum in with the original kick, bringing out a little bit more attack, a little bit more low end, and just getting it to just ever so slightly step up and just allow that syncopation to be more apparent with the electronic kick and the rest of the drums. Okay, let's take a look at a parallel that I used on all the vocals, the verse and the chorus vocals. Again, CJ's stems come in super wet, super processed, really, really amazingly produced. And I got them in this very wide, lush place with lots of gang vocals, some different voices, all creating this really amazing space and tone and texture. But what I felt was missing was just the middle. And to kind of keep in line with this heavily saturated and processed tone, I put together a sort of distorted parallel. So here, this distorted parallel is what I've got coming off the all verse and all chorus vocal buses. The dist op amp 21, then going into the rev plate 140. Okay, let's take a listen to the vocals going out of the chorus into the verse, and I'll solo it. So build your nest and burn the rest. Okay, so as I was saying, they came in super wide, super lush, and what I ended up wanting to do was just bring out the middle just a little bit. Okay, let's take a listen to the verse vocals in solo where you can really hear what this parallel is doing. So build your nest and burn the rest. And off. I want it be nice every day and night. And back on. So build your nest and burn the rest. I want it be nice. And back off again. Every day and night. Okay, let's take a look at what these plugins are individually doing as well. So build your nest and burn the rest. I want it be nice every day and night. So build your nest and burn the rest. I want it be nice every day and night. So in combination, there's a couple different layers of saturation and tone going in. the op amp 21 is really boosting the highs, a little bit of drive, a little bit of presence, balancing the dry wet mix and the output, trying to just get a tone that kind of would gel in with CJ's original vocals. And then into that, what I've been doing for a really long time and really enjoy is both on this plugin and the Spring plugin, the drive knob just has a really lovely tone. And I think what may have ended up happening is this may have originally been a plugin that I threw on as a reverb and ended up taking down the decay time all the way, reducing the width, pushing the drive up, again, balancing the wet dry here, and then additionally just folding, again, what was a reverb parallel into just a mono parallel. So I've brought the pan on the plugin back into the middle. And as you can hear, without it on, the vocals are really lush and wide. And then bringing that in, it just sort of fills out the middle really nicely, particularly in the verses. So again, the intention with this parallel was to fill in the middle. So I just need to make sure that the panning as well was brought into the middle. Yeah, let's take a listen one more time from the end of the chorus into the verse. Off. Back on. Burn the rest. Won't it be nice? Okay, so this last bit I'm going to show you is an aux featuring the Delay Tape 201 and the EFX Ambient. What I'm really doing with this is just creating a feedback line fed by the synths in the track and using that to create a few different rises and swells in and out of a few different points in the track. The second chorus, the second verse, the third chorus, through the breakdown into the last chorus. Let's take a look at some of that, and then I'll talk through some of the pieces that I was automating. And here's another section of the track featuring this swell. So what have we got? We've got volume automation, we've got repeat rate automation, which is on the left, but the left and the right are synced, so the left controls the right. And we've got automation on the intensity or the feedback. And then later on, the EFX Ambient comes in with a automation on the wet dry. So as well as the nice swells and rising that I'm getting out of these boxes, I really liked the way that the feedback was adding this layer of intensity towards the end of the track. So I kind of decided to just keep that feedbacking on and just kind of control the level here to create a sort of arrangement of this layer of feedback, and then add in this sort of pitched reverberant space on top of that, just again add a little bit more harmonic content to it. Let's take a listen to this end bit. This is with it on, and then mute it. Now back on. Okay, let's just take a listen to what each individual plugin's doing. I can solo this aux here. So all that really lovely top kind of pitched up information is really lovely. And then here's the delay line off. And then in context, complete range drops. Again, here's the FX ambient off. Adding some really lovely pitched up, kind of octave up, almost granular-like texture. So again, the intention with this really was just kind of get creative with feedback and create these moments of swell and intensity, rises in and out of choruses and verses, and then use feedback and a pitched up granular layer to again create this swell of intensity through this final really big, massive outro, and hopefully marry in the tonal quality of the synths into this feedback line that kind of brings us to the final conclusion of the record. Okay guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for sticking with me. If you liked what you saw, subscribe for more, and see you soon.